Okay, I'll play with you. You wanna clear up? Say hello to my little friend!
Listen, you don't need a $1,000 phone to play console quality games. I'm running these on a budget MediaTek device, and honestly, some of the results shocked me. So in this video, I'm ranking 9 PS2 games, starting with the ones that just work straight out of the box, and ending with the heavy hitters that need a few smart tweaks to stay smooth. And stick with me till the end, because by then, you won't just have another emulator sitting around on your phone. You'll have a legit list of games that actually run, and maybe a whole new appreciation for what your Android can really do.
How are we gonna survive this if you can't sneak past a couple of whack jobs?
Let's kick things off with Manhunt 2. If you've never played it, this is Rockstar's dark, psychological stealth action game that puts you in the shoes of Daniel Lamb, a man with a shattered memory hunted through brutal environments where survival depends on staying hidden, improvising weapons, and making split-second choices. Now, here's the good news. On Android, Manhunt 2 doesn't demand much from your device. It runs pretty smooth with just the basic emulator settings. No crazy tweaks, no hours of trial and error. That said, every phone reacts a little differently, so if you try it and still run into stutters or lag, just drop a comment below. I'll reply with specific settings tailored to your device so you can get the best performance possible.
Next up is Naruto Ultimate Ninja 5, hands down one of the best anime fighting games to ever hit the PS2. This one drops you right into the action of the Shippuden storyline, letting you relive epic battles with a huge roster of characters, tag team combos, and those flashy cinematic ultimates that make every fight feel like a moment straight out of the anime. Now the great part is, this game is surprisingly friendly to Android devices. It doesn't need heavy tweaking, just the standard emulator settings are enough to keep battles smooth and playable. I rank this game a 9.5 out of 10 on playability scale.
You've got quite a reputation.
Urbanreign is a game a lot of people missed back in the day, but if you're into street brawlers, this is an absolute must-try. Imagine the style of Tekken, combos, grapples, counters, but dropped into a city overrun with gangs. You'll fight through alleyways, bars, warehouses, and every encounter feels like a survival test. What really sets it apart is the partner mechanic. You can call in an ally mid-fight, and it changes the whole rhythm of combat. It's chaotic, but in the best way. For playability, a solid 9 out of 10.
Why is it that every time disaster strikes, I find myself without a proper blade?
Now here's a classic that honestly caught me off guard. Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones. This one mixes platforming, puzzle solving, and sword combat in a way that just flows beautifully. You're constantly running along walls, flipping over enemies, solving environmental traps, and then slowing down time with the Dagger of Time for those cinematic finishes. And I've gotta say, this has quickly become my new favorite on Android. Something about the parkour and the storytelling still feels ahead of its time even today. Performance-wise, it's solid. Most mid-range devices can handle it smoothly with basic emulator settings. You might see the occasional frame dip during big cutscenes or boss fights, but nothing game-breaking. For playability, I'm giving The Two Thrones a 9 out of 10. It's that good.
defjam Fight for New York is pure chaos. It's not just a fighting game, it's hip-hop culture wrapped into brutal street brawls. You're throwing opponents into walls, smashing them through tables, using the environment as a weapon, and the roster, packed with rappers and personalities that made this game unforgettable. It feels more like a gritty underground fight club than a standard fighter. On Android, this one actually performs better than I expected. With basic settings, it runs smooth enough to enjoy the story mode and those over-the-top finishers without much hassle. If you're on a weaker device, you might notice dips during crowded arenas or when the stage interactions get heavy, but that's easy to tweak with a few setting adjustments.
Overall, I'd rate Def Jam Fight for New York at a 7 out of 10 for playability. Totally worth a try, especially if you've never experienced its unique mix of fighting and style. This one's a bit special. WWE 2K23 running on Android through mods. What makes it stand out is the updated rosters, attires, and arenas that bring a modern WWE feel to a classic PS2 base. It's pretty wild loading this up and seeing today's stars in action on a phone. Now in terms of performance, it's good, but not perfect. Standard one-on-one matches run fairly smooth with just the basic emulator settings, but once you get into big match types like Tag Team Chaos or Battle Royales, the frame rate can dip, especially on mid-range devices. I have a dedicated video for performance tweaks for this game, link in the description. So while it's impressive and definitely fun, I'd rate WWE 2K23 a 7 out of 10 for playability. Worth trying, but manage your expectations.
Oh, and there goes the rap. Okay, I'll play with you. You wanna play rap? Say hello to my little friend.
Scarface, The World Is Yours is basically GTA with Tony Montana at the center, and it still feels iconic. You're rebuilding Tony's empire after surviving that mansion shootout, taking over Miami block by block, running businesses, driving around in fast cars, and laying down heavy firepower on rival gangs. It's brutal, stylish, and full of that 80s swagger. On Android, this one pushes the emulator a bit harder than some of the others. The open world map, the cars, and the shootouts can cause frame drops if you're on a weaker device. With basic settings, mid-range phones will run it, but expect occasional hiccups during bigger missions. High-end phones handle it much better. Still, if you've ever wanted to play a crime sandbox with Tony Montana as the lead, this is the one. For playability, I'd rate Scarface The World Is Yours at a 6 out of 10. Not the smoothest, but definitely one of the most fun.
Impossible. Why? You got some kind of shortage of platters?
Tony, come on, whip up the cash.
Oh, you guys don't quit. You're like a fucking cockroach.
Alright, let's talk God of War. This is one of the PS2's all-time greats, a brutal hack and slash where you step into the sandals of Kratos, tearing through Greek mythology with those iconic blades of chaos. It's fast, it's cinematic, and it defined an entire generation of action games. But here's the reality on Android. God of War is demanding. On mid-range devices, you'll run into frame drops during combat-heavy sequences, and cutscenes can stutter unless you fine-tune the settings. It's playable, but it takes some patience and tweaking to get the best out of it. I have a dedicated video that shows how I was about to boost performance up to 60 FPS for very smooth gameplay. So while it's a masterpiece of a game, on Android I'd give it a 6 out of 10 for playability. Worth trying, but definitely not the most stable title on this list.
Remember, do exactly as I say. The cubicle across from you.
The Matrix Path of Neo lets you step into Neo's shoes and relive the big moments from the films. Dodging bullets in slow motion, martial arts combat, and of course, those wild wire fu sequences. It's stylish, ambitious, and for fans of the trilogy, it feels like a dream come true. But here's the catch. On Android, this game is rough. Even on mid-range devices, you'll see heavy frame drops, stuttering during combat, and the bigger the action gets, the harder it struggles. You can tweak the settings to squeeze out some performance, but it never really hits a consistently smooth level. So while it's awesome in concept, in reality, it's more of a try it out just to see it run kind of game rather than one you'll actually finish on Android. For playability, I'd rate the Matrix Path of Neo a 4.5 out of 10. Cool to test, but not worth sinking hours into here.
And there you have it, 9 PS2 games you can actually fire up on your Android device right now. Some run flawlessly, others need a little patience or tweaking, but together they show just how far emulation on mobile has come. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these games are you going to try first? Or maybe you've already tested one and found the perfect settings. Share them down below, it might just help someone else out. If you found this video helpful, drop a like. It really keeps me motivated to make more lists like this. And if you're serious about getting the best emulator experience on your phone,
hit that subscribe button because I've got even more guides and game picks coming your way. Thanks for sticking around till the end. Now go fire up that emulator and enjoy some classic gaming.
Yeah.